If you feel like you're constantly putting out fires in your parenting, reacting to tantrums, scrambling to manage meltdowns, and ending every day exhausted, wondering why everything feels so hard, you're not alone. And here's the truth. It's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because no one ever taught you how to shift from reactive parenting to intentional parenting. Reactive parenting is what most of us do as default because it's what we learned. Someone acts up, we react. Behavior happens, we respond in the moment without a plan. But here's what the research shows. When we parent reactively, we're always one step behind. We're managing crises instead of preventing them. And our kids, they're learning that chaos is normal. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to break that cycle and parent with intention instead of desperation. Let me paint a picture. Your child refuses to put on their shoes. You ask nicely once, twice, 3 times, your voice gets louder, you feel your frustration building, and eventually you're yelling or physically forcing shoes on while everybody's upset. Does that sound familiar? That's reactive parenting. It's not bad parenting, it's just unintentional parenting. You're responding to each moment as it comes without a framework or plan. And here's what happens. Your nervous system stays in fight or flight mode. Every behavioral challenge feels like an emergency that needs to be having some sort of immediate reaction. Research on parental stress shows that chronic reactivity actually changes how our brains respond to our children. We become hypersensitive to conflict, which means we react bigger and faster to smaller triggers. It's exhausting and it's not sustainable. One parent in my Amazing Parents Club described it perfectly. She said, "I felt like I was constantly being ambushed by my own child's behavior. I never felt prepared. I was just always trying to survive in the moment." But here's the good news. You can change this pattern starting today. Here's what most parents don't realize. Reactive parenting doesn't just affect today's tantrum, it's shaping your child's long-term development and your relationship with them. When we parent reactively, our responses are inconsistent. Monday's consequence for hitting might be totally different from Wednesday's consequence for the exact same behavior because we're just reacting to how stressed we feel in that moment. And what does the research on child development tell us? Children need consistency to feel secure. Diana Baumrein's research on parenting styles shows that inconsistent responses create anxiety in children, which actually increases behavioral problems. But there's an even bigger cost. Reactive parenting damages trust. Think about it from your child's perspective. If they never know which version of you they're going to get, the patient parent or the overwhelmed parent, they can't predict your responses. They can't trust the relationship to be stable. This uncertainty, it's one of the biggest threats to secure attachment. And for you as the parent, reactive parenting keeps you stuck in guilt and frustration. You end the day feeling like you failed again, which makes you even more reactive tomorrow. It's a vicious cycle, and you deserve better. So what does intentional parenting actually mean? It means you have a framework, a plan for how you're going to handle behavioral challenges before they happen. Instead of waiting for your child to refuse shoes and then figuring out what to do, you've already decided your approach. You know you're going to give a calm, clear warning. Shoes go on now, or we'll take care of it together. You know the consequence if they don't comply, and you know that you're going to follow through calmly every single time. This is what my 5 C's framework teaches. Intentional strategies across communication, consistency, choices and checkpoints, consequences, and check yourself. When you have this framework, behavioral challenges stop feeling like emergencies. They become predictable moments when you already know your response. One parent told me, the first time I stayed calm during a tantrum because I had a plan, I almost couldn't believe it. I wasn't scrambling. I wasn't guessing. I just followed the framework and it worked. That's the power of intention. Intentional parenting doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you're purposeful. You're driving the car instead of being dragged behind it. Here's the practical shift that makes intentional parenting possible. You start planning your responses during the calm moments, not the crisis moments. Tonight, before you go to bed, think about the top 3 behavioral challenges that you face with your child. Maybe it's bedtime resistance, sibling hitting, or grocery store meltdowns. For each one, decide your intentional response right now. What will you say? What consequences will you follow through on? How will you stay calm? Write it down. This is crucial. When you're in the heat of the moment, your reactive brain takes over. But when you've already decided on your response and written it down, you can reference that as your plan instead of improvising. Maybe you actually get out your piece of paper, or maybe you remember seeing the list, bring it to mind, and then act upon it. This is using the check yourself C from my 5 C's parenting framework, becoming intentional about your parenting approach before you need it. And here's what happens. The first time you face that challenge and you respond with your planned strategy instead of reacting, you'll feel the difference immediately. You'll stay calmer. Your child will respond better because you're consistent. And you'll start building trust, both with yourself and with your child. One parent said, I taped my response plan to the bathroom mirror. When I felt myself getting triggered, I'd excuse myself, read the plan, and go back calm and ready. Intentional parenting gives you that power. Here's the truth. Shifting from reactive to intentional parenting isn't a one-time decision. It's a practice that you build upon one moment at a time. Start small. Pick one recurring behavioral challenge this week. Maybe it's morning routine battles. Decide your intentional approach, what you'll say, what consequence you'll use, how you'll follow through. Then practice the one response consistently for the full week. What you're doing is retraining your brain. Neuroscience shows us that repeated intentional responses create new neural pathways. The more you practice your planned response instead of defaulting to your reactive one, the more automatic your intentional response becomes. Eventually, intentional parenting will become your default, not something that you just have to force. And here's the beautiful part. Your child will notice. Children are incredibly perceptive. When you start responding with calm consistency instead of reactive chaos, they feel safer. Their behavior often improves, not because you're using fancy techniques, but because they trust you to be steady, predictable as the loving authority figure that they need. One parent shared, my daughter told me, Mommy, you don't yell anymore. I hadn't even realized how much it had changed until she said it, but she was right. And I wasn't reacting anymore. I was parenting with intention. You didn't become a reactive parent because you're failing. You became reactive because no one gave you a better framework. But now you know there's a different way. Intentional parenting means your child gets the very best version of you, not the most stressed version. It means you end the day feeling capable instead of defeated. And it means that you're building the long-term relationship with your child that you've always wanted. One built on trust, consistency, and calm confidence. This shift from reactive to intentional, it's completely possible for you. You have everything you need to start today and make that change. And every intentional moment that you practice is a step towards the family dynamic that you deserve. Now, if you're ready to truly transform your parenting from reactive chaos to intentional confidence, I have something special for you. I'm hosting a free live workshop called Parenting Reset from Reactive to Intentional, where I'll walk you through the exact research-backed strategies that help you stay calm, set boundaries with confidence, and build the relationship that you've always wanted with your child. Join me for this free upcoming live workshop by registering at drlindsayemmerson.com/reset. You can find that link in the description below. And if you're coming across this video after that date, then I'll link to the workshop recording right here. Keep up the good work on your amazing parenting journey.